Penguin Random House Audio presents The Wealthy Gardener, Lessons on Prosperity Between Father and Son by John Soforic, read for you by Dennis Kleinman.
Preface. I wrote this book about wealth for my son. I felt qualified to speak to him about prosperity due to my own financial freedom. As a father, I was dedicated to offering my best advice without diluting the harshest realities. Financial success was not easy for me. I don't have unusual talent, intellect, or special skills. I did not attend a renowned college. I possess no distinctive advantage besides discipline to accumulate wealth. I have no influential contacts. For decades, I earned a living as a chiropractor, but also started and ran several small businesses during my working years. These businesses were average, rural, common, and regular operations with steady cash flows. By the time I turned 50, however, I possessed the one thing that everyone desires at that age: total financial freedom. I had options and security from a series of dull, continual, plodding, and hard-earned successes. I'd amassed wealth slowly but steadily in the hard-working middle class of America. I've always valued advice from those with experience. To learn of war, I would rather talk to a soldier than a historian or an academic. For this reason, I recorded my own life lessons from the financial trenches. I have found the prosperous life to be a noble and worthy quest. My aim of this book was to offer personal insights that were gained over a 30-year journey. As a father, I wanted to teach my son many lessons on creating his own prosperity, but I didn't want to preach to him. A better way to do it, then, was by creating an engaging parable to help explain the lessons. Like reading a biography for pleasure and insight, learning through stories can be more enjoyable and profound. While this format comes at the risk of oversimplifying principles, it is a risk chosen for the greater good of clarity. To this end, The Wealthy Gardener is a hybrid. It is half fiction, half non-fiction. Chapters are divided into life lessons, each opening with a fictional story followed by real-life anecdotes. The hybrid format remains the best way to entertain, engage, and explain these lessons of prosperity. Part 1. Master Gardening. We come from the earth, we return to the earth, and in between we garden. Anonymous. Chapter 1. Use the days. Lesson 1.1. Seek prosperity. Prosperity is financial comfort, life without money worries. The seeds of every harvest are the hours of days. The Wealthy Gardener. He sat alone on the solitary bench overlooking the pond on the corner of his property. There was a hardcover book on his lap, his hand grasping a pen. The Wealthy Gardener scribbled a verse as an introduction to his finished manuscript. The moral is clear as I look back at these lessons now that I am of age, that the book of one's life is determined by the courage contained in each page. These lines would serve as an opening to a subject more complex than most people imagined. The truth is, he believed, there was never just one ingredient that led to his financial freedom. It was always a way of life, and this way of life was noble. The Wealthy Gardener recalled how, in the early days, his friends had judged him to be a workaholic without work-life balance. They had advised him to slow down, take it easy, enjoy more leisure, and live for the day. Why not be content with your life? Can't you be satisfied with normal conditions? Many things in life are more important than money, they had told him. Why work so hard? Many things are indeed more important than money, agreed the Wealthy Gardener. But overcoming the money problem allows us to focus on these important things. Without money and time, we yield little power over life. His friends meant well, of course, but they just didn't get him. He wasn't trying to be better than them, nor did he care to be a high-income earner with an affluent lifestyle. Many others had achieved that level of success. He was seeking a rarer outcome. He always knew what he wanted, and he was after the financial holy grail. As his material success burgeoned over the years, his good fortune became more visible. The same people who had judged him began calling him lucky. They again advised him to be content with his success and relax. "You can't take it with you," they would remind him. "What's the point of money if you can't enjoy it?" They never suspected his deepest motivation. It wasn't about piling up cash in the bank for the sake of hoarding money. It was about gaining the upper hand, not over others, but over his life's financial condition. It was about living with no economic concerns and, ultimately, experiencing his fullest life through financial freedom. When faced with a problem that money can solve, and we have the money to solve it, he had always said, "Then we face a trivial problem. But lacking this money, the smallest of life's problems can turn into the worst of life's problems." Later in the twilight years of his life, when his wealth multiplied into extraordinary sums, he allowed himself the luxury of travel to see and experience the world. As he voyaged, he saw how all people faced the same underlying economic challenges. It seemed that almost everyone thought about money, wanted it, but did not clearly choose to accumulate riches. In this way, he had been unlike others. His success was a testimony to disparate outcomes from different goals. Wealth grows from the seeds of desire. And in the end, his friends returned. Old men mellow with age, and those lifelong rivals became the most regular patrons of his outdoor winery. They dubbed him the Wealthy Gardener, due to his personal passion of backyard gardening. The silly nickname stuck, and he did not object to it. Instead, within a year, he renamed his vineyards the Wealthy Gardens. He enjoyed the name because it reminded him of a metaphor comparing life to a plot of land. Gardeners are not afraid of working hard to shape the landscape, but they are also aware of a mysterious unseen force that operates behind the scenes to make the plants grow. At any rate, time was running out, thought the wealthy gardener, and his days were numbered. Now it was finally time to return home. He tucked his book under an arm and trekked a mile through his fields. As he walked, he couldn't help but ponder the greatest question of all. Was the price of success worth the rewards? He had lived his life, he had achieved uncommon prosperity, but did it matter now that he was about to die? Yes, it was worth the price, he believed, for the rewards of prosperity were found in the work, the freedom, and the personal growth so necessary to attain his wealth. Most unexpectedly, he had come to see the prosperous life as a spiritual journey. He hoped he had conveyed these truths in the pages of his book. Arriving home, he went to his garden. It was November and the ground was not yet frozen. He wrapped the book in a plastic bag, feebly lowered himself and buried it in the dirt. Either Jimmy would find the book or the lessons of the wealthy gardener's life would be lost to eternity. He offered a prayer to fate to decide. In the real world, I had attended a Catholic grade school and high school. By the time I graduated, I'd been indoctrinated with teachings about the evils of excessive wealth and prosperity. A rich man cannot get into heaven any more than a camel can fit through the eye of a needle. Money is the root of all evil, and what good is it to gain the world yet lose your very soul? But during my 20s, as I moved into the financial challenges of adulthood, I learned about money from a different perspective. I witnessed how the lack of money leads to fear, restlessness, and chronic despair. I discovered that a work-life balance is not so wonderful when you spend your spare time in an uneasy state of financial anxiety. We never know the value of money until we know the fear of its absence. Money, like oxygen, is not too important until there is not enough of it. But when levels run low, it will consume us. Then every waking hour is spent working for money or worrying about it. At the age when I learned the worth of money, I was married with a small child. Others depend.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?